Hey everyone, I'm Arju Kushwa and today we are talking about chromatography. So, what is chromatography? Chromatography is a physical method for separation of compounds. Sweet Russian botanist is credited for the development of chromatography. He employed the techniques to separate various plant pigments such as chlorophyll and xanthophyll by passing solution of these compounds through a glass column packed with finely divided calcium carbonate. The separated species appeared as colored band on the column, which accounts for the name he chose for the method chromatography. Okay. So the chromatography is a Greek word. Okay. Chroma means color and graphy means writing. Chromatography is based on a very simple principle. The sample to be mixed, called solute or analyte, is allowed to interact with two immiscible phases, a mobile phase and a stationary phase. Okay, the two immiscible phases could be solid and a liquid, or a gas and a liquid, or a liquid and another liquid. The stationary phase, that is solvent, okay, which may be solid or a liquid supported on a solid, does not move. The mobile phase moves the sample through the stationary phase. The mobile phase may be liquid, okay, or a gas, okay. If it will be a gas, then it's a gas chromatography. Okay, all chromatographic method involve passing a mobile phase through a stationary phase. The two phases are chosen so that the component of the sample distributed themselves between the mobile and stationary phase to varying degrees. Classification of chromatographic method. Chromatographic method can be classified in three fundamental ways. Number 1, based on the shape of the chromatographic bed. Number 2, based on the physical state of mobile and stationary phase. Number 3, based on the mechanism of separation. So, we will discuss based on the shape of the chromatographic bed. Based on the shape of the chromatographic bed, there are two types of chromatography: planar chromatography and column chromatography. In planar chromatography, the stationary phase is separated on a flat planar surface. The plane will be paper impregnated by the substance acting as a stationary phase, that is paper chromatography and PC, or a thin layer of a substance acting as a stationary phase spread on a glass, metal, or plastic plate. Okay, that is thin layer chromatography, TLC. Planar chromatography is also termed open bed chromatography. In thin layer chromatography, the stationary phase is thin layer of silica gel or alumina on a glass, metal, or plastic plate. Silica gel is used as a stationary phase. In silica gel, the silicon atoms are joined via oxygen atom in a giant covalent structure. The other commonly used stationary phase is alumina, okay? Aluminium oxide. In column chromatography, the stationary bed is within a tube. The particles of the solid stationary phase or supported coated with the liquid stationary phase may fill the whole inside volume of the tube or be concentrated on or along the inside tube or leaving an open, unrestricted path for the mobile phase in the middle part of the tube. In gas chromatography, the stationary phase is always packed in column in order to contain the mobile phase, a gas. Based on physical state of the mobile and stationary phase. Based on the physical nature of mobile phase, there are two types of chromatography: gas chromatography and liquid chromatography. Further, based on the physical nature of a stationary phase, there are two subgroups of gas chromatography by naming the mobile phase followed by stationary phase, gas solid chromatography and gas liquid chromatography. In similar fashion, Liquid chromatography can be subgrouped into liquid solid chromatography and liquid liquid chromatography. Based on the mechanism of separation, the chromatographic techniques use several types of mechanisms to separate analyte. Based on the mechanism of separation, chromatographic techniques can be partition, absorption, size, exclusion, affinity, and ion exchange chromatography.